They told you to be humble, to shrink, to wait your turn. They said, don't think too highly of yourself. And so you dimmed your light, didn't you? You tried to fit into the mold, tried to stay polite, stay quiet, stay agreeable. But deep down, you knew. You knew there was more inside you. You knew you weren't average. You could feel it every time you walked into a room. You didn't just want to be there. You wanted to own it. Let me ask you something. Who told you weren't the best? Who convinced you that you had to earn the right to walk tall, speak with power, move like a force? Listen to me carefully. You don't become the best by waiting for someone to give you permission. You become the best by acting like it before the world ever notices. Greatness doesn't ask for approval. Confidence doesn't knock softly at the door. It walks in, looks life in the eye and says, I'm already what you're waiting for. You see, the world will treat you the way you present yourself. If you come small, you'll be handled small. If you carry yourself like the best, if you think like the best, speak like the best, prepare like the best, you begin to attract the level you belong to. You don't need to wait for applause to believe in your value. You don't need someone else's nod to validate your excellence. Act as if you are the best. Because the truth is, no one is better than you when you fully become who you were meant to be. Have you ever stood in front of a mirror and questioned who you really are? Not because you don't know your name or where you come from, but because deep down a voice keeps asking, am I really enough? That voice is loud some days, subtle on others, but it's always there, and it makes you hesitate. It makes you overthink. It makes you doubt what's already inside of you. But let me tell you something. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's not reserved for the chosen few. Confidence is a decision, a choice you make long before you feel ready. Most people wait to feel confident before they act boldly. They wait for results, for recognition, for applause. But the truth is, confidence shows up first. It's what starts the momentum, not what follows it. It's the spark you ignite in yourself when you have no evidence, yet no proof, no guarantees, just a whisper inside that says, do it anyway. Think about the most powerful people you've seen, not just on stages or screens, but in real life. That person who walks into a room and somehow shifts the energy. They don't wait for permission. They don't ask, am I good enough to be here? They decide they belong, and then everything around them starts adjusting to that belief, not because they are better, but because they chose to believe it first. Confidence is not about being loud or showy. It's about certainty. It's about owning your space before someone gives it to you. It's saying to yourself, I don't need proof to believe in myself. I choose belief, and the proof will follow. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. That's clarity. But here's the catch. Confidence doesn't come without resistance. There will be days when fear will try to take the wheel. Days when your mind will feed you every reason to back down, every excuse to play small. And in those moments, you must remember, confidence is a discipline, not a feeling. You don't wait for the storm to pass to be bold. You decide to be bold in the storm. You speak with power even when your voice shakes. You show up like you're already chosen, even when no one's clapping. You have to train yourself to act from the identity you're building, not the insecurity you're trying to escape. That's what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's that decision made every single day to step into confidence before it feels natural. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Feelings follow decisions, not the other way around. You don't feel brave and then act brave. You act brave and then one day you realize you are. The same applies to confidence. Make the decision, live the posture, and eventually your mindset, your results, and your reality will rise to match it. The moment you decide to walk like you're enough, talk like you're enough, and prepare like you're enough, that's the moment everything begins to shift. Most people don't realize it, but every time you enter a room, you're teaching others how to treat you without saying a single word. Your posture, your eyes, your pace, your energy, they speak louder than your voice ever could. Before you even open your mouth, the world has already formed an opinion about who you are, what you expect, and how far you're willing to go. And it all comes down to one simple truth. You train people to treat you by how you treat yourself. That's why confidence must come first. That's why it has to be a decision. Because how you carry yourself tells everyone else how to carry you. If you shrink yourself, others will too. If you second guess yourself, so will they. But if you walk like you know who you are, if you speak like you mean it, show up like you're ready, move like you're valuable, people start to mirror that energy. They don't see you as you are, they see you as you believe you are. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who didn't have the most talent in the room or the best credentials or even the loudest voice, but somehow they were the ones everyone listened to? That wasn't luck. That wasn't magic. That was presence. That was someone who understood the quiet power of self-respect. Someone who had already made a personal agreement with themselves. This is who I am, and this is how I expect to be treated. You see, when you act like you belong, people assume you do. When you value your time, others begin to do the same. When you speak with clarity and conviction, even without shouting, your words gain weight. The world takes its cue from you. But the reverse is also true. If you hesitate, apologize for your existence, or seek constant validation, the world will treat you like a question mark instead of an exclamation point. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being certain. It's about being intentional with your presence. Confidence isn't just in your voice. It's in how you enter a room. It's in your handshake. It's in your silence. It's in the way you sit at the table like your voice matters, because it does. And the moment you stop waiting for people to recognize your value and instead start showing them how to, everything changes. Respect begins internally. How you talk to yourself in the morning, how you speak your name, how you handle rejection. Those are all signals that either teach others to admire your resilience or to exploit your self-doubt. That's why you must carry yourself like the best. Because it isn't arrogance, it's a standard, a declaration, a message to the world that says, here is where I stand. If you want to interact with me, this is the level you need to come to. And let's be clear, it's not always about being the loudest or most dominant in the room. It's about being the most grounded, the most self-assured, the one who doesn't need to prove because their energy already speaks. Because the truth is, when you decide your worth, the world doesn't get to discount it. So the next time you walk into a space, don't just enter. Establish yourself. Let your presence set the tone. Let your posture write the introduction before your voice even says hello. There's a secret most people never tap into, not because it's hidden, but because it takes courage to live it. And here it is. The way you act teaches your mind what level to operate on. So when you act like the best, not arrogantly, but intentionally, you are telling your entire system, this is who I am. This is what I expect. This is the level I'm built for. You're not faking it, you're training it. Because your actions speak to your mind louder than your thoughts. So you can think positive all day long, but if your behavior is timid, uncertain, scattered, your mind believes that. But the moment you start aligning your actions with excellence, your mindset begins to rise. It starts to match the story your body is already telling. That's why acting like the best isn't pretending, it's preparation. It's building internal alignment with your future, not just your present. It's showing up like you're already in the position you want, already holding the standard, already capable, even when you're still becoming. It's not about lying to yourself, it's about leading yourself. If you want to think like a winner, move like one, speak like one, prepare like one. Decide that average is no longer your baseline. Every time you cut corners, you're subconsciously telling yourself, this is all I deserve. But when you over-deliver, when you stand tall, when you walk into a room and command it with quiet certainty, your mind begins to believe that you are built for more, not because you shouted it, but because you lived it. See, most people are waiting for a breakthrough before they upgrade their behavior, but it works in reverse. The behavior creates the breakthrough. You want to feel unstoppable, start moving like someone who is. You want to think like a leader, start acting like one, before anyone calls you that. That's how transformation happens, not through waiting, but through walking, through aligning your habits, your tone, your preparation, your posture with the highest version of yourself. You're always becoming what you repeatedly do. So when you act like the best, not out of ego, but from a deep belief in your potential, you're telling your life, this is my new standard. And life has a way of responding to standards. Opportunities start to look for you. People start to treat you differently. Rooms begin to shift when you enter, not because they changed, but because you did. And this alignment isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to commit to showing up like you already matter, like you already belong. Because truthfully, you do. But the world won't recognize it until you do. That's why this is so powerful, because when your actions, your energy, and your intentions all speak the same language, excellence, then your results no longer have a choice. They have to respond. And that's something you need to understand. No one can outperform a person who truly believes in their own worth. Skill matters, talent helps. Resources give you an edge, but belief, real unshakable belief in who you are and what you bring, that's the difference maker. That's the invisible force that turns average into unstoppable. Because when you believe in your own worth, you stop asking the world for permission, you stop shrinking, you stop apologizing, and you start owning every room, every conversation, every opportunity, like it already has your name on it. Most people are not held back by lack of talent. They're held back by lack of belief. They hesitate. They downplay. They make themselves small so others can feel comfortable. And then they wonder why doors stay closed. But here's the truth. People can feel when you doubt yourself, and they respond accordingly, just like they can feel when you know who you are. When you walk like you've already earned it. When you speak like you've got nothing to prove and everything to offer. That's the edge belief gives you. It sharpens your voice. It straightens your back. It clears the fog in your thinking and ignites the fire in your action. And the best part? You don't need anyone else to give it to you. You don't need a title, a trophy, or 1,000 likes to validate your worth. You just need to choose it daily, repeatedly, no matter who doubts you, no matter how slow the results come, because once you believe, deep down, that you deserve more, everything about the way you show up begins to shift. People say believe in yourself like it's a slogan, but this isn't a cute phrase, it's strategy. Because belief changes how you show up in pressure. When others get shaky, the person who believes stays grounded. When rejection hits, belief says, this doesn't define me. When failure comes, belief answers, this is a lesson, not a label. That's what makes you unshakable. That's what gives you staying power. That's what makes people pay attention, even if they ignored you before. You've got to understand, when you believe in your own worth, you stop chasing and start attracting. You stop trying to prove and start embodying. You become magnetic. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because your energy speaks certainty. Your moves carry weight. Your words carry a conviction. And your presence demands respect. Because it's built on a foundation that no one else can take away. The truth of your own value. And belief isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't beg for recognition. It doesn't scream for approval. It just is. It's the quiet fire in your eyes, the unwavering calm in your decisions, the steady pace in your pursuit. People feel it before you ever speak it. That's why those who believe in themselves rise faster, stand stronger, and recover quicker, because they've already decided who they are before the world does. So if you want to rise, if you want to shift your life, if you want to dominate your lane, start with belief, relentless, grounded, personal belief. Because when the world senses that you know your worth, it has no choice but to catch up. Before people hear your words, they hear your energy. Before they know your name, they feel your presence. You could have the right plan, the right strategy, even the right message. But if your presence doesn't match your potential, the world won't listen. That's why your presence must declare your value before your words ever do. Think about it. Have you ever watched someone walk into a space and command attention without speaking? They didn't need to raise their voice. They didn't beg for eyes. They didn't rush to prove anything. They simply showed up fully. That's not luck or genetics. That's intentional presence. It's the result of a decision to move like your matter, to carry yourself like your time. Your vision, your contribution is non-negotiable. Your presence is your personal billboard. It tells the world what to expect from you, whether or not you say a word. And the truth is, people will believe what you project. If you show up looking unsure, they'll question you. If you hesitate, they'll doubt you. If you enter a room hoping to be noticed, chances are you won't be. But when you show up with presence, composed, focused, grounded, people feel it and they respond to it before they even understand it. This is why posture matters, not just physically, but mentally. It's about how you sit at the table, how you hold your head, how you listen, how you make eye contact, how you walk into a meeting, not with arrogance, but with certainty. People don't follow loud, they follow clear. And clarity is what presence communicates. A quiet strength, a deep-rooted identity, an energy that says, I know what I bring, I know who I am, and I don't need to convince you, I just need to show up. Presence is not about being the center of attention. It's about being undeniable, even when you're silent. It's about showing up so intentionally that even when you're overlooked, you're still unforgettable. The kind of presence that makes people rethink how they treat you, not because you demanded it, but because you walked in as if it was already true. And this isn't something you turn on and off. It's a way of being. You develop presence by the way you treat yourself when no one's watching, by how disciplined you are with your time, how deeply you respect your own value, and how fiercely you protect your vision. You don't just build presence in public, you build it in private. And when it becomes a habit, it becomes magnetic. Remember, people trust presence more than they trust performance. You can impress with words, but you impact with presence. You can pitch with power, but you win with posture. Because in a world full of noise, those who carry calm confidence cut through. Those who know their worth don't rush, don't panic, don't shrink. They establish themselves. And people can't help but respond to that kind of grounded authority. So don't wait to be introduced. Don't wait to be invited. Don't wait for someone to affirm what you already know. Let your presence say it first. Let how you enter, how you move, how you exist speak volumes before you ever open your mouth. Because when your presence speaks value, your voice only confirms what they've already felt. So now you know it's not about waiting, it's not about asking, it's not about hoping someone finally sees you. It's about deciding to believe in your worth before the world does. Deciding to walk with power before the applause comes. Deciding to act like the best, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you finally remember who you are. You've been underestimating yourself for far too long. You've been shrinking, waiting, doubting. When deep inside, you already know you're built for more. And now is the time to live like it. To walk into every room, every meeting, every moment with the quiet, unshakable confidence that says, I belong here. I am not less than. I am not behind. I am ready. Stop negotiating with your fears. Stop giving discounts on your value. Stop postponing your breakthrough because you're waiting to feel ready. You don't need more time. You need more decision. You don't need their approval. You need your alignment. Start today. Stand tall. Speak like you matter. Move like it's already yours. Let your energy declare it. Your presence reinforces it. And your consistency prove it. You are not less than anyone. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are already enough. And the moment you act like it, the world will rise to meet you. Now go out there. Be undeniable, be unshakable, be unstoppable. Good luck and thank you.